Before you decide this is just another story about smiles and hospitality, stay with me. Because the habit we're about to talk about is not something you can learn from a book, a YouTube tutorial, or even years of living in the Philippines. Many foreigners try. Some live here for decades. Some marry into Filipino families. Some even speak the language fluently. Yet they still say the same thing in the end: I can't do it the way Filipinos do. And once you understand why, you'll never look at Filipino culture the same way again. Imagine this. A foreigner moves to the Philippines. At first, everything feels warm. People smile easily. Neighbors greet each other even if they've never met. Someone offers food without being asked. At work, colleagues avoid open conflict. Nobody wants to embarrass anyone. It feels peaceful. It feels kind. But after some time, confusion sets in. The foreigner starts asking questions like, why won't they just say no? Why do they agree, but later nothing happens? Why does everyone seem to care so much about what others feel? That's when they run into the habit that many foreigners find almost impossible to copy. It's called paki kasama. Paki kasama doesn't have a perfect English meaning. People try to translate it as, getting along, or, going with the group, but that's not enough. Paki kasama is the deep habit of adjusting yourself for the peace of others. It's choosing harmony over being right. It's thinking about how your words, actions, and decisions will affect the group before you think about yourself. For many Filipinos, this habit starts early in life. As children, they're taught not to talk back, not to embarrass elders, not to make others uncomfortable. They learn to read the room. They notice small changes in tone, facial expressions, and silence. They learn when to speak and when to hold back. This becomes natural, almost automatic. Foreigners often grow up with a very different idea. They're taught to speak their mind, to be direct, to say exactly what they want. In many cultures, honesty means saying the truth no matter how uncomfortable it makes others feel. In the Philippines, honesty is important too, but harmony often comes first. This is where copying paki kasama becomes difficult. A foreigner may understand it in theory. They may say, okay, I get it. Be nice. Be polite. But paki kasama is not just being polite. It's emotional awareness. It's sensing when your honesty might hurt someone's dignity. It's knowing when silence is kinder than words. It's choosing patience even when you feel frustrated. You see it during family gatherings. Food is shared, even if there's not much. Someone insists you eat more, even when they're the ones who cooked and barely ate. A foreigner might think, why don't they just take what they need? But paki kasama says, let others feel cared for first. You see it at work. A Filipino employee may avoid openly disagreeing with a boss, not because they are weak, but because they want to preserve respect and peace. A foreigner might see this as lack of confidence. But inside, it's a strong social awareness that values unity. You see it among friends. Someone may say yes to an invitation even if they're tired or busy, because they don't want to make the other person feel rejected. Later, they may quietly find a way out. Foreigners often find this confusing and even annoying. They ask, why not just say no? But for many Filipinos, saying no directly can feel like breaking a social bond. Now pause for a moment and think about this. In your own culture, how do people usually handle disagreement? Do they speak directly, or do they soften the truth? Do you value being right, or keeping peace? Drop your answer in the comments section. I'm really curious to read how different cultures handle this. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Paki kasama is not about pretending. It's not fake kindness. It's about shared survival. Historically, Filipinos lived in close communities where cooperation meant survival. If you broke harmony, you risked being alone. Over time, this shaped behavior, values, and habits. Foreigners often struggle because paki kasama requires you to constantly think beyond yourself. It asks you to slow down your ego. It asks you to feel what others might feel before you act. This can be exhausting if you didn't grow up with it. Some foreigners try very hard. They soften their words. They smile more. They avoid confrontation. But deep inside, they still feel uncomfortable. They feel like they're hiding their true thoughts. Filipinos don't always feel that way. For them, harmony feels natural, not forced. And here's the part many people don't talk about. Paki kasama has a cost. Filipinos sometimes carry emotional burdens quietly. They may sacrifice their own comfort to keep peace. They may feel stress they don't openly express. This is why some foreigners say, "I respect it, but I can't live like that." At this point in the video, if you're finding this interesting and you enjoy deep stories about culture and human behavior, take a second to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who loves learning about different cultures. It really helps the channel grow and lets us bring you more stories like this. Now let me ask you something deeper. Is paki kasama a strength, or does it sometimes hold people back? Is it better to protect harmony, or to always speak your truth? There's no simple answer. That's why this habit is so fascinating. Many foreigners admire Filipinos for this. They say Filipinos are easy to be with, warm, and considerate. But when asked to live the same way every day, to always think of others first, they admit it's one of the hardest things they've ever tried to copy. Some even say, "I can live in the Philippines. I can love the people. But I will never fully be Filipino." And that's okay. Because paki kasama is not a skill you copy. It's a habit shaped by history, family, and shared experience. So here's the final question I want you to think about. If the world practiced a little more paki kasama, would it be a kinder place, or would people lose their voice? And if you're Filipino, do you see this habit as a gift or a burden? Drop your thoughts in the comments section. I read them all, and your perspective might help someone else see the world differently. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video for more amazing content like this. Your support keeps stories like these alive.